This is the final video for the brochure assignment, and this video is all about tying up loose ends, such as making sure that we have a format that's special for quotes and for copyright information, such as here, making sure that we've deleted all of the excess, like these numbers here, and even the disclaimers. We don't want to have those at an equal level to the content. So let's begin with our quote. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go over here to my type tool, highlight this, and I want to select this as a quote, and I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to go into paragraph styles, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new paragraph style. Paragraph style here, I'm going to double click and I'm going to call this quote. Now what I'd like to do is I'm going to go into basic character formats, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to select a different font, and here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to italicize this, and I'd like to enlarge this a bit. Perhaps that's too much. And now I'd like to go into color and change that. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so it's not as bold as I would like it to be. And I think what I can do here is I can actually take this and I can celebrate certain words within this quote. For example, Dr. Jeff Sabutsky and his name, I might want to do a carriage return there. But I also may want to have special characters within here. So for example, Dr. Jeff Sabutsky, I may want to take his title and I may want to go in here and create character styles. Now all along paragraph styles, we've been able to create entire paragraphs with a specific formatting. But whenever you want to have certain words within a set paragraph, where it's just those words that pop off the page, or maybe just certain letters, you can do that in character styles. Character styles works exactly the same way. So right here I have none. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call this character style. I'm going to call this name. So this is what I'm going to do to all of the names of the individuals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the name, I'm going to go over here into character formats, I'm going to choose a font family, Corbel, I'm going to use regular, I'm going to go bold italic, and I'm going to go into character color, and I'm going to select the dark blue. So let's see what that looks like. I'm just going to click OK, and let's see how that looks. Okay, and I'm also noticing here that president should be capitalized, president and Sheridan College. Maybe I'd like to change that though to, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go see what it looks like with orange. Okay, well we can always work on that after. Now basically what I want to do is I want to go over here and I want to select this quote. I want to treat it the same way, so I'm going to go into paragraph styles. I'm going to call this quote, and I'm going to take the name, and I'm going to go into character styles, and I'm going to go name. Now what I'd like to do is I think I'd like to treat these contact names the same way. So I think I'd like to go in and do Michelle Guile, Paula Damaso. I'd also like to format these disclaimers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into paragraph styles. I'm going to create a new style from normal, so I'm going to call this one disclaimer. And I'm going to go into basic character formats here. I'm going to make it even smaller. And then maybe what I'd like to do is change the font again. And I want to italicize that. And I'm going to say OK. Now I have a couple of disclaimers. I have one here, I have this one here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Character styles, paragraph styles, disclaimer, and my final disclaimer is here. Now when you're ready to remove these numbers, which are a bit of a nuisance to get at, because whenever you're trying to get at something where there's multiple layers, there's a bit of a trick to that. If you go over here to layers, this works just like it does in Photoshop. But when you first get here, it might just look like this, where it says layer 1. If you expand layer 1 and you scroll down, you'll see your number layers. So I can actually go in and delete these just by clicking on the delete button. Then I'm going to go up here and now work on my number 1. Where are you? There it is. Delete, delete, and delete. Okay, so the last thing I need to do is I want to take a look at this document to see how does it actually look when it's going to be printed. And there's an easy way to do that without having to worry about all of these added lines and guides that I've created as I've gone through my document. This is also a really great way to make sure that I have done everything that it's requested of me on the rubric. Have I done enough to push the design elements? Have I done enough to create design tension? The easiest way to do that is to actually go out, make sure you're not on the text tool. You can't be on the text tool when you do this, and you do a Shift W. Now this will allow you to see what the document will look like when printed, and you can use the navigation arrows up and down to see what the final document looks like. Now I'm not saying that this is what you want your document to look like. I would actually really like to see some originality, and I would really like to see how you can create some excellent design tension. There might be some ways to implement this. For example, path 2, instead of having it across here, I might want to create some text that runs along the side, and perhaps I could do that for all of my paths, like path 1, path 3, path 4, and just create a dynamic relationship between the content and the actual page. So have fun with this. This is really something that will look great on a resume when you're building your portfolio for work. And go over the rubric before you submit to make sure that you haven't missed any elements.